Welcome to the Healing Courageously podcast, where we engage in open, honest, and healthy conversation about everything from addiction, abuse, and recovery to marriage, family, and spirituality. We hope you find this podcast helpful. Our goal is that you will find a new way of living as you look closer at yourself in these areas of your life, which will lead to a happier and healthier you. Now here's your host, Randy Boyd.
Well, hello, and thank you for joining us on this episode of Healing Courageously. And tonight I have another special guest, my wife, the happy one between the two of us. Mm-hmm. She's the one that makes me laugh, Kathy. She tries really hard sometimes to make me laugh, and I just keep, see, there she goes. She gives a 1 minute smile type thing. And I won't laugh until she holds it for about 3 minutes, and then I can't help but laughing. So, anyways, my wife is here again tonight. She's I've always said that there's angels on earth, and God gave me this one right here because I'm lucky to even have her in my life today. So, we've been through a lot, haven't we?
Yep.
We've been through a whole lot. So,
it's all been worth it.
It's all been worth it. You know. So tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about our transition to empty nesters. Transition to empty nesters. And, it's a time of life where married couples especially, I think they look forward to it. I know we did. We look forward to it.
I looked forward to it, but I didn't know how the adjustment was going to take place. And then I didn't know the emotions that were going to come with it, because I think that's, everybody thinks, oh, yeah, no kids, we're good. Yeah. And then there's emotions that come with that. Yep. So I think that was the part that was more challenging, and I don't think anybody ever told me what that would feel like. So I kind of felt like we walked through that, or I walked through it, kind of just figuring it out on my own.
I think both of us did,
Yeah.
And I know there's somebody who's going to be watching this or listening to this. Oh man, I can't wait just to get them out of here. I'll be happier than pigs in the mud when they're gone. Yeah, well, I'm sure my wife and I probably said that a few times ourselves, but it's a completely different thing when your children that you rear from birth into young adulthood decides it's time to spread their wings and they move out and they live their life, which as it should be. I know that the first time Kathy really struggled, and it was a long drive home from New Mexico. And I'll let her tell the stories when we took our son back to the University of New Mexico, Garrett.
Wow, that makes me even get emotional thinking about it. So we were excited because he had toured the University of New Mexico. He was going to go there to play baseball, although he had to try out for the team. There wasn't a scholarship or anything like that. So we drove to New Mexico a couple times just to check out the school, but the time that we took him and dropped him off, that was hard. That was so hard.
That's an understatement.
I didn't that, like I said, the emotions that go with it, I had no idea what was coming. But we drove him there, got him all situated in his dorm, and kind of living vicariously through him, going to college, because neither one of us went to college.
Right,
so it was kind of like, oh, we're in college too, because our son's in college. And then we decided we were going to come home, and we were driving the 14 hours back from New Mexico back to the Coachella Valley. And I don't think I said 2 words the whole ride home. And I don't even know what I was thinking. I just felt this overwhelming sadness. And thoughts got through my head like, have we equipped him? Is he going to be okay? That was my firstborn baby. And yes, he was a boy, but those emotions were still so real. So we drove home. Well, we drove home in silence, really. There was not a whole lot going on.
She didn't say hardly. I don't think she said 2 words the whole trip home, except maybe, I got to go to the bathroom and this, can we stop and get something to drink or eat?
Yeah.
And I think that's about it. And it wasn't even, I could just tell that no matter what I would say at that moment to her, nothing I was going to say was going to help her. So the best thing I could do was probably for the first time, I did the right thing, kept my mouth shut.
Yeah, it was quiet, very, very quiet. quiet ride.
Yeah, it was.
So that was tough. That was one of the hardest times. That was the first time. You know,
Sure.
we have a couple kids, so we did this a couple of times, and that one was the hardest. And then, how did you feel though
Go on. I mean, as a father, it's the same thing like Kathy said. Is did I equip him good enough? I felt that I did. Considering that at that point I was pretty much still drinking, but it's still, to this day, the kids say, "Dad, you were a great dad. You just had a problem for a while." So, you know, I knew that I probably equipped him good enough for what he was going through. The one thing that, you know, all our kids know is we're only a phone call away, period. So, I mean, I was nervous, but I was excited, you know. And I definitely, when you said living vicariously, because I loved playing baseball. I had no support when I was going on high school.
Yeah.
You know, and Garrett's had a tremendous amount of support. So, you know, I was happy that he was going to be able to play with the University of New Mexico. So, you know, at least for the fall squad. So, you know.
And I think what helped me too is that, you know, we had those phone calls periodically, and to hear him having fun and excelling and things that he was doing, and going to the college football games. I mean, all those fun things gave me a lot of peace. What I was worried about was he was the new kid on the block, and things that happen in college, and he would tell me stories, and I'm like, did that happen to you, son? And he would tell me no. So I don't know if he was telling the truth or not, or if he was just keeping me comfortable in the environment. But it was exciting, though, to hear his excitement, until the excitement stopped when he did not make the team. And that was devastating for me. It was devastating for him. And so we kind of reinforced the fact that you don't stop in the middle of a semester. We want you to finish this semester, and then we'll have you come home.
Right.
So, of course, silently I'm like, oh, he's coming home, yay. Although I was heartbroken for his pain, because he really, really, really loves the game.
Yeah, there's a story behind that too. He should have got the scholarship.
Yeah.
And there was, but you know, we won't go into that. And politics, college politics, play into a lot of different things. So.
But it was that up and down emotion.
Up and down emotions, right. And then he did come back here, though. He came back and played at COD for a while, and then went to Golden West. Then he ended up playing in Wyoming two summers, at a semi-pro with that league. So, and when he was 22, he said that, "Dad, I'm done." And you know, it was tough on me, but you know what? It's his life, not mine, and he was happy, and that's all that matters. So.
I feel in my heart that we knew he was equipped when he came back home, stayed home for a little bit and played locally, but then when he went away to Huntington Beach, that made me realize how equipped he was.
Right.
And so that gave me peace, knowing that, okay, we did something right, and he did well. We helped him with his apartment. And he did well in school, so that was good.
That was good. So, but you know, here we are at home, and it's just and I think prior to that we had my son, your stepson, Danny. He's a great kid. He's been very successful in his life. But, you know, he was a little bit. He got to a point to where he was a little bit of a handful, I guess. No, not a handful. He got that 18 years old. He became a little bit rebellious, and I had to play hardball with him. It was hard love, I should say, with him. And it was hard, really hard, but it paid off in the long run.
We didn't know what we were doing even then.
No, we really did.
He was really the first one to leave the house.
Exactly.
We kind of like scooted him out of the house.
Well, again, we helped him get situated. We don't just kick our kids out. We help them get situated, and you had clients giving so much furniture to him. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Helped him put his furniture in his apartment.
He loves Kathy just like his own mother. Well, there is differences between Kathy and his mom, but he treats her just like just like a mom, and so he's had a very good life as well. He's had struggles just like we all have, but it's turned out that he's learned a lot, and he's doing really well. And then of course we have our daughter, Alyssa.
That was a different season for us. That was the year that in 2007, you were sober a year. But you ended up having gallbladder surgery and went completely septic.
Well, completely septic, yeah.
So she was 18. I think she had already gotten married. Yeah, she had already gotten married, and her husband at the time was deployed. He was in the Navy, and he was already deployed. So she moved out into Navy housing, and we weren't available for her at all. Randy was still in the hospital, so her brothers, my sister, a bunch of people stepped up and moved her out. So by the time we got home from the hospital with you,
right,
she was already gone.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a different thing. Our focus was really on helping you get better.
Right.
And I didn't have those same emotions as I did when Garrett went away to school.
No, and like Kathy said, I was 6 weeks in the hospital. I was in a coma for a couple of weeks. So, she was there for me, but also it was there for the kids as much as she could be. And like she said, when I got out of the hospital,
we came home to empty house.
Came home to an empty house, completely empty house. So, and that that's where it gets interesting because, Kathy and I have had a life. We've had a really good life, to be honest with you. But there was a couple years where things were rocky, really rocky, and it's like I used to tell her all the time, we can't let the flame die out. We can't let the flame die out. I don't care what we do. We just got, even if it's a flicker, we have to keep it lit somehow. And I don't know how we did, to be honest with you.
Well, no, I don't either. I think what it was, unbeknownst to us, God was working in us at that point. But I also think that we really did a lot of things as a family.
Yeah.
And even though, our focus was on our kids during the time we were raising them, we did it together. It wasn't, me going one direction, you going another,
right.
Although there was some of that.
Well, yeah, with sports stuff, it was inevitable, yeah.
But I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that we stayed united as a family. I can remember even after the kids were 17, 18, 19 years old, it was Friday night, it was Red Robin family night.
Well, that's right, yeah.
So, it didn't matter where we were. So I really think that our foundation of a family helped that.
I agree.
But when they were all gone for the first time, it was one of those moments where I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
Do I have to love you? Do I have to like you? Where are we at?
You don't have to do anything.
No, I didn't. But it was just interesting because we learned that we had to get to know each other all over again, and not really all over again.
Yeah.
We get to know each other in this season of our life because we knew each other in the season of raising kids.
Right.
Now we had to get to know each other in that season of no kids.
Right.
And learning how to communicate, compromise, trust. There was a lot of new learning that you do some of it in the family environment, but it becomes a deeper, intimate relationship.
It's a whole nother level.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
We fell in love with each other when we were just Kathy and Randy.
Mm-hmm.
And we had Danny on the side. He was there, but it wasn't. He was still part of the family, but it was Kathy and Randy. And you fall in love with each other back then, and that love keeps growing and growing and growing. Then the kids come into play, work comes into play.
We have to share ourselves.
All this stuff, all of a sudden it's just not Kathy, or it's just not Randy. It's Randy and the business, Kathy and the kids, Kathy and work, and so there's a lot of different things that are attached to each one of us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's really good.
And it's like with Garrett and Alyssa and all the kids, really, when it comes to sport, like Kathy said, as a family, we did everything. And I ran a very successful business for 20 years out here. And I never once put my business before my family.
Right.
And it worked out great.
Yeah. No, we made everything a priority.
Yeah.
And I think that was the key to being successful in business and being successful as a family as well.
So, but I also think the key to our success in that transition was I was sober. I had just gotten sober. So, I was not only sober. Sober. Anybody gets sober, quit drinking or using your drug of choice, and you're sober.
Right.
But it's the recovery.
Yeah. you were in that process.
The deep-rooted, seated recovery where I become the person that God intended me to be, not the person that I thought the world wanted me to be, or Kathy wanted me to be, or my stepfather, or pastors, or whatever. Who the man that God wanted me to be, that God created me to be,
Yeah.
you know, and so she was on the same journey, you know, for a couple
Took me
years.
a couple years to catch up to you, but I was.
But so there was a lot we had to learn over.
Yeah.
We had to learn how to love each other over. I think that, do you like me? How many times do I tell you, I don't like you today? I mean, you know, I think there's nothing wrong with that, because, and even I've told her a couple, I don't like you today. She goes, that's good, because I don't like myself either, right?
I know when I don't like me.
And so she, you know, but I never fell out of love with her.
Right.
Never, ever fell. Even, I had an affair, okay? But I was still, those times during that affair, I was dying.
I think what it comes down to, the word that keeps coming to mind is intentional. We have to be, and we had to learn to be intentional towards each other.
Yeah.
There were times when I didn't have a lot of patience for you.
Right. Understandable.
But I had to be intentional about learning to have patience. Because sometimes that doesn't come naturally. Sometimes you don't want to be patient. Sometimes you don't want to do the things that he wants to do. And so I had to learn to be intentional about accepting my place without kids as well.
Yes.
And so that was a little bit different. But, all in all, I think we all have to get there at some point. The reason that this whole subject was on my heart is our pastors are getting ready to become not empty nesters, but their firstborn is getting ready to go into the Marines.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching their emotions, and it stirred up the emotions within me. And so I thought, you know what, there are people out there that experience this.
Right.
And it's real stuff. So,
Yeah. No,
so we basically just kind of rebuilt on our relationship. We rebuilt with recovery, which helped rebuild in that relationship tremendously.
Exactly.
We each had our own journey of recovery. We surrounded ourselves around healthy people at that point in our life, healthier than what we
healthy
had.
married people.
And
too.
healthy married people, which made a big difference. And
we walked away from people too.
yes,
we
left relationships that weren't healthy.
That weren't healthy. Absolutely.
Interesting enough, I love how we've kind of gone through the dark places and then now out to the light. And even some of our friends, or they're still friends, I still consider friends, are the parents of our kids that we hung out with growing up. Even though we may not see them all the time or hang out with them all the time, I feel like those are those really strong friendships that will never go away.
Right.
And we have a few of those still, and those are important to me because we've watched all of our kids grow up together. Now we're watching our grandkids grow up together.
Yeah.
And those are the people that I think that if I look back in our time of family time, that they also help set a foundation as well. Yeah. So I appreciate all of them. I hope they're listening. Some of them are listening.
Yeah, I mean, some of those friends too, real quick, and there's one more episode we need to talk about, but and I appreciate them, right? Is her friends would call me on my garbage. They wanted me let me get away with stuff, and you know what? It seems like, well, it's none of their business. Well, you know what? If they see something going on that doesn't seem right, it's their business. It's like, if you see a kid being beat in the parking lot, it's none of your business. No, it is your business. That's abuse. You better speak up, right? You better speak up, because that is absolute abuse. So, we have to learn to be able to speak up. And her friends weren't mean when they did it to me. No, but it's just having those type of people that aren't going to, just pat you on the back, are going to call you on your BS and also your partner's BS when it has to be done in a loving way. It's really, really important. Yeah. So we have one other chapter right now that's happening. And actually... Well,
before that chapter, I just want to say briefly, our daughter, because her husband at the time was in the military, moved away to Hawaii.
Yeah, that's right.
3,000 miles away. Yeah. So I had to learn to be a mom and a grandma and a grandpa 3,000 miles away. Yeah. So that was another experience. But actually that one was I felt really strong. I felt empowered during that time because I felt like I equipped her and empowered her as a mom. And so that made me feel much different than when they leave the house.
What I want to say also on this is that Kathy and I aren't needy parents. Our kids are growing up. We did a really good job with them, and we know that.
Yeah.
We want them, it's their life, it's not ours. We don't interfere with their life unless they ask us to. And then and only then will we give whatever advice they're seeking. But other than that, we will not interfere with our children's lives. We're not that kind of a parent. So they enjoy being around us. The grandkids love being with us, right? Even our kids love being with us.
Yeah.
So I think that's another key thing is that a lot of parents, when the kids leave, they just keep on being that overly mother or overly father figure to
Either
them.
that or there's not a lot of communication.
Right,
I think it can be,
yeah,
there's
either
a lot of
way.
extremes. And I think that just depends on, again, the environment that we all
Yes.
grow up in.
Absolutely.
So what's this last little episode?
Well, this last one has actually been hard on me, and that is Garrett, my son, and he's been my hunting and fishing partner ever since he was 5 years old. You know, he's just been that son, right? And I was that father to him that I always wanted growing up, and we just got this bond going. So, you know, he's done really well. He was working for me for a while, and then when we shut the business down in 2011, he's got another job with somebody else that I know in construction, and to this day that guy wishes he was still working for him, Butch.
Yeah.
You know, and then he moved on to the water district. So you know we're really proud of him because he's excelling in his job.
Yeah.
But with this new, you know, when Newsom didn't get recalled, I'm just gonna call it the way it is. You know, we're all talking about moving out of the state, and Garrett decided that he was gonna do it, and so he started looking for jobs, and he woke up one morning. He says, you know, I either got to quit looking at these jobs or I got to start applying. So about 2 months ago, I guess it's been now, he saw a job offer in Buckeye, Arizona, for a water district, a level 3 water guy. He applied. 3 hours later, they called him up, wanted to interview him, and within a week, he was hired. So my son, my daughter-in-law Naomi, and my grandson and my granddaughter, they're all moving to Arizona, and they're only 3 hours away, so it's kind of like driving to LA from here, you know. But you know, and I've been the stoic dad, you know, supporting both of us. Have been very, very supportive of this move. We, you know, we've been there for them. We've talked them through it, to sell their house. They're having some issues, you know, with all the sales and not sales, but we're there for them. We're making sure we walk with them through it because it's a big move. But about 2 weeks ago, man, was I struggling. It just hit me. A tremendous amount of sadness come over me. I think it was when he sold his house, right? It became like a reality to me. And man, did I get sad. I was crying in here on my couch by myself, going, I don't know what to do. You know, I feel sad. I'm happy for him. But again, it's like, I think we all have that one child. You know, I mean, to a mom, every child is like, is precious. There's something between mom and child that men don't even try to figure it out. I'm going to put it to you that way. But it was tough. It was really tough.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I'm working with him right now. You know, something else came up this evening on as far as getting a moving van. They're just having, it's like one obstacle after the other has been, you know, they've been running into. So it's like I told him, it's just how we grow, son. We work through all this adversity. He goes, yeah, I know. He goes, we'll get there. And I says, okay, all right, we'll get there. It'll all work out for you. And Mom and I are there. We got the whole weekend, so don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Although you're not inconveniencing us at all. Because like I was saying earlier, we're there for our children, you know. Unless it's something that we absolutely cannot get out of, which is very rare that we make choices. We'll be there for our children, you know, no matter what. So, you know, that's a new one. And again, he's already scouting out hunting spots, and you know, it's a 3-hour drive. It's no big deal.
Just a little bit of an adjustment.
A little bit of an adjustment.
We'll all adjust
Yeah.
And I think that's the key to this too, is that life goes on.
Yeah. Right.
Work goes on, friendships go on, our kids grow and mature, and there's sometimes I look at my kids and I just shake my head and I'm like, who are these kids?
Right.
You know, it kind of blows my mind, and I know that we had our hand in a lot of that, but it is really a beautiful thing when you can sit back and just look at your kids and go, wow, look at them. Look what they've done.
Exactly.
Look where they're at. Look who they've met. And all of our kids, they all are so different, and they just know what to do.
Yes.
I feel like they just know what to
They
do.
know what to do.
It's a beautiful thing, and it's difficult when you're in it, but looking back, there are so many rewards. And it's like I told our pastor the other night when I was talking to her, I said, the relationships change as our kids grow older.
Absolutely.
And as they mature and as they get married and they start having kids. They're still our kids, but our relationships change and they grow and they mature, and it's just a beautiful thing. So for anybody that's out there that might be listening
Right.
and or getting ready to go through this, I promise you that heartache will heal. The relationships will adjust. The relationships will grow stronger. The bonds will grow stronger. It's crazy, but I talk to my daughter every single day on my way home. I just do. That's the mother-daughter relationship we have. But don't be so afraid, and allow those emotions, I guess, is the best thing to do. Allow the emotions. Share the emotions. You're not the only one going through it. It's not unusual. So that's just my 2 cents for it, because I know I got through it.
Yeah, you all get through it, you know. And it's like it's natural. She's talking, for some reason, and I haven't thought about this for a long time, and this was said to me a long time ago. Our dogs agree also.
Yeah.
So sorry, we're not in a professional studio yet. We're still in our home studio doing the best we can, but we're working.
Hey, it don't matter.
But anyways, Garrett was going to Wyoming to play ball, and I was telling somebody that I was buying material from one day that, hey, I'm gonna drive back with Garrett to Wyoming, and I'll go back to where I want to fly home. He goes, why are you doing that? And I go, I don't want him driving alone. I just, it's a long drive, and and he said something to me that it actually upset me, but I think anyways, what he said was, he goes, for God's sake, Randy, he goes, I was 17 years old and in the jungles of Vietnam fighting, right?
Wow.
And I go, wow, man. But and that's and I understand where he's coming from, but if that attitude is reflected onto your kids, it makes them feel worthless,
Value.
Value. I mean, there's ways you can talk to your kids about that without devaluing them and their feelings, And I just wanted to drive back with Gary. It was no big deal. But I'll never forget that he said that to me. I was like, dang, that's harsh. I mean, yeah, you're 17 in the jungles of Vietnam fighting. That was a choice that you made at 17. So
You can't take your mom and dad with you.
Yeah. You can't take your mom and dad to Vietnam.
No.
And all the Vietnam veterans, man,
Any
any veteran. Kathy and I support you guys 100%.
Absolutely.
We're so grateful for the sacrifices that you guys make on a daily basis. You leave your families for a year or two at a time. You're not there at Christmas, all that, your kids. So we just want to tell you right now, we're really grateful and thank you for your service. So
absolutely.
Look, if you're getting ready to go through this, just look at it. It might be a challenge, but look at it as we're starting a new chapter in our relationship.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be the best chapter of our lives.
Yep.
And it really will. I mean, we had to make adjustments. I was going through recovery, so I was working on myself, and then all of a sudden I had us thrown on top of it. But it all paid off in the long run. It all pays off in the long run. So you got anything else you want to say?
No, I just think, my encouraging words is that allow those feelings. They will pass. The relationships adjust.
Right.
The relationship with your spouse will grow stronger.
Yep.
Be intentional in all of your relationships, and I think it'll all work out. God's got his hand in it, so just got to be intentional.
And husbands, remember this. It's from the 11th step prayer that, when this transition is taking place,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be harder on the wives usually than it is on us as men. Don't discount your wife's
Yeah.
feelings.
I think
Okay.
that's so helpful.
Matter of fact, think of it this way: it's better to comfort than to be comforted.
Mm-hmm.
It's better to understand than to be understood. And it's better to love than to be loved.
Yeah.
Think about those three things right there and focus on those and watch your relationship start to blossom.
Yeah.
I promise you. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's worked for me and Kathy countless times.
So true. So true.
So I think that's it for this episode. But, I've got 3 episodes coming up. This one will be released on Monday. And then the one for the 27th, it will be Melissa Kavanaugh. And she is the author of the book, right here, probably cannot be here, right here. This is a really short and sweet book called Please Write Back.
So
Oh
powerful.
my God, short and powerful. It has to do with her mother, and addiction.
Mm-hmm.
So I will have her, she will be on the 27th. And then the following Monday is what, second or third? The third. On the third, I'll be having Stephanie Cochran. She's a counselor. I think she's even CEO at Green Shoe Foundation, where they have intense trauma workshops. And then the following week on the 11th or the 10th, I'll be having John Campbell, who's the CEO and owner of Casa Colima, which is a treatment facility in Texas for men.
Yep.
And my good buddy Uncle Eddie, he's their outreach guy there, and he's doing a phenomenal job. So we got some good things coming up in the next 3 weeks, and then see what happens after that. If you want to know more about what my wife and I can do for you, check out our website, changeyourlifestorynow.com. We do both life coaching, marriage counseling, and in our marriage counseling, I am SYMBIS certified, Save Your Marriage Before It Starts. It also helps with married couples, works with married couples. And believe me, it's an assessment. It's not a personality test, a spiritual test, a strength. It's none of that. And it is 99.9% accurate with
And
every
it's fun. It's just fun.
Oh yeah, we like to have fun when we do this kind of counseling. I also do marrying. We marry people, and the marriage counseling includes the SYMBIS, and then probably about 2 hours, 3 hours worth of other counseling that we do on top of that. So you can check out our website, changeyourlifestorynow.com, and then also check out our website, courageoushealers.org, which is our foundation, the Courageous Healers Foundation, where we help men, women, and their families heal from the scars of sexual abuse.
Yep.
And then also you can check out my books. They're all on the website. They're also on Amazon. Healing the Wounded Child Within, which every person should read.
Yep.
Absolutely every person,
I
yeah.
would agree.
30-day devotion of the wholeness, 7-day challenge, and then I just put 3 more on there. One is Melissa's Kavanaugh's book, Please Write Back. Another one is from Denise Bossert, I believe, Thriving After Sexual Abuse. There's a review in there that I did. They're all on my website, as well as Ted Decker's The Forgotten Way and the Forgotten Way Study Guide. I recommend those for spiritual growth and healing 1,000%.
Yeah.
They have done me just wonders. So those are all on the website now. If you want to, you can check them out there. I think we got workshops coming up, but we don't have the dates yet. We're going to do those after the first of the year. Okay. So I think that's it. And then we will see you on the next episode of Healing Courageously. And remember, if nobody tells you they love you today, Kathy does.
I do.
Randy does. But more importantly, God does.
Yep.
So everybody have a super blessed day, evening, morning, whatever time of day it is. Be blessed.